Hey guys, how's it going? I want to come on here and I want to talk about California, man. I want to talk about the elections that's happening right now in California. First of all, I just want to. What I really want to say more than anything is how insane it is for anybody at this time, to actively defend the way we do things in California in regards to elections. It's insane. I'm watching the Tom Billio show, his podcast, and they're talking about it, and they're actively trying to rationalize in their head how cheating, fraud, whatever word you want to use, is not happening. Like, they're actively trying to justify it. They're like, okay, well, we can understand no photo ID. No photo ID is required. It's actually against the law. Right? If you're gonna go vote, you cannot show an ID, and the poll worker cannot ask. If they ask, they can actually get arrested and go to jail. Right? So you can't show proof of who you are. You can't do signature verification, which means you verify the signature on your ID to the signature on your ballot. You can't do that. You can't do that. There might, it may not match precisely. This is their excuse. You can't show ID. It's against the law, and the poll worker cannot ask for ID. It's against the law. They start sending out mail-in ballots a month to 2 months prior. I think it might be a month to 2 months. Let's just, for the sake, say a month, right? So 30 days prior to the election, they send out ballots. And then, on top, and not only do they send out ballots, but they send out mail-in ballots to everybody in California. Everybody. Not just one or two people, not just to the people that requested or that are disabled, but to everybody. They then count these ballots for up to 30 days. I think it's 35 days after. So the election doesn't get certified for up to 35 days after, and so they have a full month to continue counting ballots. And you have these people like Tom Billio and many others. I'm picking on him right now because he's, and there's others I could pick on. But I'm picking on him because he's a self-proclaimed genius. And he's a self-proclaimed independent. You understand? Like he's self-proclaimed on everything. Like, the guy's a brilliant genius, and he knows and understands everything. And keep in mind, I like this guy. I like him. I think he has a lot of really good takes. I do think he's very smart. But he is actively in his head trying to rationalize how California also does this thing called ballot harvesting, where people can turn in more than one voter ballot. So technically, a person can turn in up to 100 ballots at a drop box or the mail, and that's another thing. Drop boxes, right? California has drop boxes where you can go put your voting ballot. Thousands of them throughout the city and the state of California. You know why? Because ballots, those ballot boxes don't get certified by the mail. It's fucking like they can't be certified, right? They're if it goes through the mail, it gets certified. It gets processed. But if your ballot gets put in a drop box, it doesn't get certified. It doesn't get validated. You know what I mean? It doesn't say, okay, this one went to this house and it came from that house. You understand? There's a point A to point B from point A to point B, from point B back to point A. This motherfucker is actively rationalizing how any of this makes sense. Actively rationalizing it. If you haven't been paying attention to the elections, and excuse me for the pause right there, right? Because it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. On the day that they started counting, on Voters' Day, which was June 1st, June 2nd, don't know, it was one of them. Steve Hilton, who ran as a Republican, was first place. Spencer Pratt, who ran for mayor of Los Angeles, was second place. And then third place, you had this Indian chick. Who cares about her name? She's a nobody. She was down by 9 points, I believe. Over the course of 7 days, guys, Spencer Pratt got almost no votes. Mayor Bass had a decline in votes. And the Indian chick had a huge increase in votes. So now it's Mayor Bass, the Indian chick, and Spencer Pratt. What would be the incentive to give all the remaining votes to the Indian chick? Well, in California, you do the initial primary, and it's the top two candidates go to a runoff. So what just happened was, instead of having a runoff with a Republican and a Democrat, Spencer Pratt versus Bass, now you have a runoff of two Democrats. Indian chick, Mayor Bass. And so the Democrats win either way. Like, that's it. And both of them are the same people. They think the same, they believe the same, they talk the same. Everything about them is the same. There's no difference between the two. They're two peas in a pod. So regardless of the outcome, the Democrat Party is gonna get the person they want. It took 7 days to get the result they wanted. But keep in mind, they're going to keep counting for 30 more days. They're not going to certify for 30 to 35 days. And so this is going to just get significantly more. On top of that, California passed a law that makes it almost impossible to investigate any voter rolls. It makes it almost impossible to do anything in regards to election integrity. They haven't cleaned up their voter rolls. There's an estimated almost 900,000 people And on the LA voter rolls that shouldn't be there. They're dead. They're gone. They moved out of state, out of city, or somewhere else. So they're not eligible to vote anymore for LA County. In California, they have millions of people that shouldn't be there. They're gone. They're dead. They're illegal. They're something. And they purposely not cleaned up those rows, those voter rows, because it makes it to where fraud can happen, right? And this guy has the audacity to try to rationalize how any of this is a good thing. There's nothing good about what just happened. What just happened was legalized fraud. What just happened was legalized corruption of the highest scales, guys, of the highest. It doesn't get more significant than this. It really doesn't. So here we are. Here we are. With it appears as though the Democrats were able to cheat their way to victory. And they did it so brazen. All eyes are on California right now. Because for the first time in a long time, they had two candidates that were really, really shaking it up. And it's just insane to me how anybody can actively try to rationalize what we just witnessed. But here we are. We have these brilliant, too smart for everybody people who are able to rationalize everything. But if they were to just use 1% of common sense with rationality, they would be like, ugh, this is bad. And so my point of making this video is not just to LARP and complain. It's not. It really isn't. My point of making this video is a little bit darker. My point of making this video is, and I'm a huge Trump fan. I'm a huge Trump fan. I think he's done phenomenal. Some missteps, but I only say missteps because I don't know the full story of everything. The only person that knows the full story of anything that's happening right now in the world is the president and the people around him. And so when I say I support President Trump, I'm not saying I blindly support him. I'm supporting President Trump's team. From Marco Rubio to Pete Hegseth to Tulsi Gabbard to RFK Jr., to all of them, because these are top tier people, bro. These are top tier operators. And they've and in my personal opinion, they've done amazing in regards to a lot of things. And so here's where I'm gonna get dark. But it has to be said. I mean, unfortunately, President Trump He's doing a phenomenal job of pointing and putting a spotlight on the state of California. But that doesn't solve the problem. That's not going to fix the problem. Being like, look, the steel is in. Look what they're doing, and having the whole country see it. And the only people that are denying it are the people that are going to benefit from the outcome. Or they're so entrapped in their ideology that they see it and they know it's happening, but they just don't care because it's their guy, it's their person. And so, to President Trump, as possibly one of your biggest admirers and fans, what are we going to do about it? I don't want you to point at it. I don't want you to talk about it. What are you going to do about it? When is the FBI, the Secret Service, when are the marshals going to storm California and do something? Because what California not just did was they didn't just steal an election. They created a blueprint. Or maybe they didn't create the blueprint. Maybe somebody else created the blueprint, like in Minnesota or these other deep blue states. But they refined it and they perfected it. And so now the outcome will always be predetermined. We have been shown that as of today, there are no such thing as free and fair elections in California, which means we don't have democracy. And we don't have a republic. And so if the choice of the people and the will of the people has been taken away and it's been removed, then we really don't have a country. We have a monarch system. We have something that doesn't resemble anything that America is. We have something brand new. We have something different. And so, to President Trump, to our Secret Service, to our FBI, to the United States Marshals, what are we going to do about it? Don't point it out. Don't truth or tweet about it or post an X social. I don't want any communication with people like me in America who want our republic to exist for the future, because I have kids. I have 4 kids. What just happened is not about me. It's about my kids. It's about their future. And that was their ability and their right to choose who they want to represent them has just been massacred. It's been murdered. It's been genocided. Let's just call it for what it is. It's gone. It's dead. So how do we bring this back to life? What are we gonna do? What is the solution? Right? People like me, we don't want talk. We want action. I want people's houses raided. I want government houses raided. I want people locked up for what we just witnessed. And I want it to never happen again, because it is It is my kid's future. And here's what people don't realize. The pendulum swings. It'll always swing. There was a time California was deep red, and now it's deep blue. The pendulum will swing. And so just because you are the party in power right now, it doesn't mean you're always going to be in power. No matter how hard you rig the rules, something will change, something will happen, and you will lose that power. And do you want to concede that power? Do you want to concede that power and give it up and know that you're the person that created the rules? You're the person that made it possible to cheat and respond in such a way? President Trump, the time for talk is over. I see that you're doing things across the world. I see that you're putting in the work, my guy, and I respect it. But right now, Iran is not more important than what's happening in California. Cuba is not more important than what's happening in California. There's no issue greater than what is happening in California right now that we all bear witness to. There's nothing more important than this, and right now. And so what are we going to do about it? And here's my and this is where it's going to get dark, guys, darker. And you have Republicans, conservatives, still trying to play a game with rules. I play a lot of chess. I play a lot of chess. And I'm pretty freaking good at it. Right now my scores around a 902, but it fluctuates between 905 and like 880. So I'm pretty good. I'm in the like top 70, 75, between 70 and 80th percentile, right? Which means I'm better than 70, 80% of all people that play chess. And so here's my thing. Chess only works because there's rules. A pawn can move once, unless it's the initial starting point, then it can move twice. 2 spaces. But anytime after that, it's only able to move up 1 time. It can't move sideways, it can't move diagonal unless it's taking another opponent's piece that's in its path. The castle can only move up and down, side to side. The bishops can move diagonal, right, on their colored pattern. And then the knights only move in shapes of L's, 2-1. The game only works when 2 players are respecting the rules and the rules are being enforced. Well, here's the problem. One team has said, my pawns can move like a queen. My bishops can move like a knight and a bishop. And my knights, well, they're free to do whatever they want. And I'm trying to win a game playing by the rules, and my opponent has turned basically all their pieces into this, super piece, a singular super piece. They can do anything however they want. I can never win a game like that. I can never win a game like that. How can I win a game where I'm the only player playing by the rules of the game, and my opponent is playing by their own self-described rules? How can you win a game like that? You can't. You just can't. You'll never be able to. I watch basketball. I don't pay for it no more. I just watch the highlights on YouTube, right? But when the NBA wants a team to win, and this is what I actively believe, I believe they go and they give the message out to the refs, and they're like, hey, we need to make sure this team wins. And so the referees go, they give them favorable fouls, a lot of 3-point plays. They use their whistle a lot. If the team that they don't want to win goes on a pretty good run, well, in order to kill momentum, they do things to slow the game down. They do things to kill their mojo, and to help the other team in regrouping and regaining their mojo. And then that team gets momentum, but they don't want to win by too much sometimes. So what they'll do is they'll slow them down a little bit, but they'll make sure they get the outcome that they want. And so when you're in an environment like that, you only have two options, guys. You really only get two options. And one of the options is you can continue playing by the rules. I'm sorry, you get three options. You can continue playing by the rules, in which case you will always lose. You can quit, or you can start cheating. And so my message to the Republican Party is, when are we going to start cheating? I don't think these people are smarter. I don't think that Republicans are dumber. And so I believe that if we decided that, you know what, we're also gonna go ahead and we're gonna start doing some of this too. And if they can perfect it, well then, the only thing that could be cheating, the only thing that can beat cheating is greater cheating. And when is that going to start? When are we going to start ballot dumping, ballot harvesting? When are we going to start passing laws and just blackballing the shit out of every Democrat? When are we going to start putting ourselves in a position to win? When is this going to happen, guys? What happened in California and what is happening is embarrassing to our country. It is embarrassing. And I'm disgusted right now. And I'm ashamed. But at the same time, I have some fear, because this is the country that my kids are inheriting. And to people who are gloating and like, ha ha ha, you fucking idiots. Do you not know? And I don't think they know. But do you not know what you are doing, the situation you're creating? Do you not understand the game that you all just destroyed, but also created? Do you all not understand what just happened? And I don't know if they do. I really don't. And so, to President Trump, as a admirer of yours, as a fan of yours, I don't want talk, and I don't care about Iran, and I don't care about Cuba, and I don't care about a lot of things right now. Right now, I don't care about none of that. What I care about right now, and this is the only thing I care about right now, is California. I don't want to hear about the Strait of Hormuz. I don't want to hear about Israel. I don't want to hear about Gaza. I don't want to hear about Russia. I don't want to hear about Ukraine. I don't care about none of them. And if what we just witnessed didn't happen, I would say keep doing that. Keep doing that. Because that's good for not just America, but for the world. But right now, as an American, and as somebody who lives in California, and as somebody who just witnessed legalized corruption, there's nothing more important than this. Every single effort needs to be made into solving this now. People need to be arrested. Governors and mayors need to be thrown in jail. Poll workers, everybody involved. I don't care if you fill up 1,000 prisons. I don't care. I don't care how many people go to jail. This needs to be fixed, not just for my kids, but for your kids, for everybody else's kids. This needs to be solved now. It needs to be solved today. It needs to be solved as of 15 years ago. I don't want a fucking tweet. I don't want a true social post. I don't want I don't want anything that's not action. I don't want the Supreme Court to rule on it. Fuck the Supreme Court. We need strong, hardcore. This is what we're doing. And then you just fucking do it. And I don't care if they call you a dictator. I don't care about the millions of things they're going to call you. Because what just happened was legalized corruption. And it impacts every family in the country. It impacts every child in the country. It impacts the future children. But most importantly, it determines if we even have a country for our kids to grow up in. President Trump, one more time, as a admirer of yours, as a fan, somebody who I see the work you're putting in, man, and I want to say thank you. There is nothing more important than this right now. And so if you have to drop 10,000 bombs on Iran tonight and say, peace out, EU, Strait of Hormuz is your problem, Russia, Ukraine, y'all go ahead and keep killing each other, Israel, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, my guy. Cubans, we were gonna help you, but we don't have time right now. You understand? All hands on deck need to be on this problem. And only this problem. And there should be no other action taken until this problem is solved, because this problem has the fate of America wrapped around it. I'm disgusted as to what I've just witnessed. And I'm fearful for my kids' future, because this is the country that these fucking boomers created. I hate that, you know, I hate how everybody talks about the boomers, the bravest generation. They were the greatest generation. No, they weren't. They were fuck-alls. They were fuck-alls. They were the most selfish generation. They're the most needy generation. The most greedy generation. The most everything wrong are starts and ends with those fucking boomers. Everything wrong starts and ends with those fucking boomers. Well, what about my Social Security? What about my Medicare? What about my pension? Motherfucker. My generation, we're not going to get Social Security because it's going to be bankrupt. Medicare, Medicaid, that's going to be bankrupt too. Pensions, we don't get pensions. My generation, we don't get pensions. We don't get nothing. We get 401ks, a shitty 401k that nets you about 3% a fucking year before the market tanks and then it goes back. And so it's this constant fucking bullshit cycle. Because our 401k cannot be invested in just a direct S&P, which nets about 12 to 15%. They create this bullshit fund that nets about 3%. You're bitching about a fucking pension? We don't get pensions. We get a bullshit 401k that still gets fucking taxed. It still gets taxed. It still gets taxed when we need it. And then it gets penalized. And so if you were to ever pull it out when you absolutely need it, you're paying upwards of 50%. If you're able to save 100 grand, if you ever needed it, you're only gonna get about 50 after the penalties, the fees, the tax. And these fucking boomers have the audacity, they have the nerve to make us want to feel bad. It was the same bullshit with COVID. It was the same fucking thing. Oh, I'm scared to go to the grocery store. Can y'all wear a mask? Can we put plexiglass everywhere? Can we do 6 feet of social distancing? That wasn't for us. That wasn't for kids. That was for the old fucking boomers. They wanted us to shut our life down to make their life convenient for the 2, 3, 4, 5 years that they have left. They wanted my kid's life to end. I hate these fucking boomers. I hate them. They are the worst fucking generation. They were degenerate, greedy, selfish assholes. They didn't care about nobody but themselves. They didn't even care about their kids. You know how many boomers have ever told their kids they loved them or gave them a hug? Or showed love or compassion? Something? It didn't happen, guys. They were fucking cold. They were, bro, I'm sorry. I can go on all day, bro. But we got to get this solved. And we got to get it solved today. Heads got to roll. it's it's too much. I understand corruption, and I think most people are okay with some corruption. I think we understand some corruption is gonna happen, some backdoor deals, a little pinch off the top. But what we just witnessed was not that, guys. What we just witnessed is possibly the death of our country and the death of our children's future. And so, President Trump, I don't want to hear words. I don't want to see a tweet or an X or a social or anything else. We want action. We want resolve. I want people in handcuffs. I want prisons full with corrupt politicians and judges. And I don't care if it crashes our economy. I don't care if it crashes the world's economy. I don't care about anything that's not this. Economies will bounce. Everything will self-fix itself, but this will not self-fix itself. Something's gotta happen, my guy. Something's gotta happen. And if it's not gonna happen, you know what? We need to get better at this cheating shit than the Democrats. And we got to get so good at it that the Democrats start screaming for reform. And until that happens, I'm gonna, like, you're gonna, it's, bro. If I'm feeling like this, and I'm just a normal person, there's people out there that are feeling like this, but 1,000 times more. And bad things are gonna start happening. A civil war is gonna erupt. You understand? It's this needs to get resolved, because there is no good outcome from this. It will get bad. Something has to be done, and it has to be done today. And I pray that somebody hears these words and relays it to our president. Because the odds of him or anybody important watching this video are slim to none. I get it. I'm not here trying to make no money. I'm not here trying to be YouTube famous. That's not my goal. That has never been my goal. My goal is to document what I believe at this point in time for my kids, so they know where I stood. So they have some form of VCast, or what is it? Vlog? A vlog? They don't use that word no more, vlog. Of who their dad was, what he believed, and why. Guys, this needs to be fixed. That's all I got, man. I there's a lot to talk about, but I have no interest in talking about anything else. None. This is everything right now. And if you're an American, a real American, a true American, a patriotic American, somebody who cares about this country and the future of this country, there's nothing more important right now. And you're probably just like me, where you're like, fuck the Strait of Hormuz. Fuck it. That's not our problem. Right? And all that other all the other stuff that when we have our act together right now in America, we can worry about. But right now there's nothing more important, guys. And to my president, this is it. This is your time to step up and shine. And this has to happen. It has to happen fast. We cannot let this slide. We cannot allow this to happen, because unlike times of past, this was done brazenly, which means they no longer care who sees it. That should be scary to people, that they did it on 4K in front of the world to see. That's all I got. Thank you for your time.